you a little hungover at all? Looked like you're having a good party last night.
Oh, I'm actually totally sober. I haven't drank. I'm doing like a cleanse, like jump start for weight loss,
Mm.
whatever. Like I do this at the beginning of every supposed camp I'm gonna have. So yeah, I actually didn't drink at all last night, but I guess you could say I got like a sugar high. I was just eating so much dessert. So I guess yeah, I'm hungover from the sugar.
There you go. That'll still do it. So you do that a lot though, don't you? Have like little kind of small parties at your place, at least from your Instagram stories, what I
Oh
see.
my gosh. Yeah. Well, like the thing is that this was our first weekend off where we didn't have anything going on. Like I think we had my birthday party last week or something. So we're like, cool, this is our first weekend. We have totally free. And then as soon as I said that, my friend hit us up and was like, hey, can we have our surprise birthday party at your house? I was like, fuck, all right. So it was cool though. Like, of course we were down to host it. But yeah, our pad is kind of like that spot. So looks
Yeah.
like we don't really get too many weekends off.
Right, right. I know it's like you got a little small concert area going on there.
Pretty much their little venue. Someone messaged me and was like, hey, what's the entry fee to your party? Uh,
That's
me
awesome.
actually know you and like you. Like this shit
Right.
ain't for everybody. Like I'm not gonna open public.
Yeah, definitely not. That's kind of flattering though, right?
Yeah, it's like, cool. People want to hang out.
Yeah. Well, geez, I mean, yeah, how is obviously right now letting in just randos? I mean, let alone just in general, that's kind of weird. But with the current times, like, how's the pandemic life been for you?
Well, it really hasn't affected. Well, I only say that because like we never got sick.
Right.
And we like me and my partner, we never got sick, but a lot of people in our close inner circle did. But I am very proud to say that nobody got it from like any of the gatherings that we'd
Right.
had at the house. So yeah, we were lucky in that sense, like no one randomly got it. But yeah, it's strange. Sometimes we think that we're immune to it because we haven't got sick, even though a lot of, some of our teammates, again, our closest friends, even our roommate who lives with us, him and his girlfriend had it at the beginning. And like, we were freaking eating dinner with him every night and never got it. So, in that sense, it hasn't affected us
Yeah.
too much. But my partner, he's a musician, so of course like all his whole life changed.
Right.
He was a full-time touring musician, and the summers are all about festivals and all the festivals are canceled. So yeah, in that sense, we're for sure affected.
Well, you guys planned the wedding too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, that too, we had to cancel the
Oh
wedding.
yeah, that. It's kind of
Sorry about
whatever.
that. Yeah, but otherwise like we've adjusted our lifestyles to like now we just party at home. We don't have to leave the house at all.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I have a gym at home, or we can just train here. So we've definitely adjusted things and kind of have learned to live with it.
Hmm.
And this is our new normal, and that's super lame to say.
Yeah. Hopefully not for much longer, right? Hopefully. But have you gotten to go back to Hawaii since all this at all?
Oh yeah, I've been home like 7 times.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's
I wasn't sure what was going on there, so.
yeah, it's just a process. Like you have to go get tested and fill out. And I've gone home so many times that I'm an expert already at it. And everything that could have gone wrong in terms of like that whole testing
Mhm.
process, I've done incorrect. Has gone wrong for me. So now I'm like truly an expert. I know exactly what I need to do. Everybody asks me for help on, if they want to go home, if they want to go visit Hawaii, they ask me, and I'm like, hell no, don't go right now. It's a freaking pandemic. Like,
Right.
why the fuck would you want to go to an island for vacation? And it's like, not even just how morally irresponsible that is, but like, it sucks. Like, there's nothing open, so it's not
Yeah.
as if you're getting the full experience. So I always try to discourage people
Yeah.
to go right now.
Yeah, definitely not going to be the same. You know, I hate to say a waste of money for like a trip like that location, but
It kind of
it,
is,
yeah, it just
honestly.
is what it is. So yeah, good fun. But yeah, I mean, geez, so much has happened since we last saw you, Lima. What is it, Bellator 238? I think in LA. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
unfortunately, lost the title in that time. So I mean,
Yes.
you've had plenty of time to look back on it now. Like, how do you feel about the fight looking back on it in hindsight? I'm actually one of the few people who thought that you just edged it out. It was very close, and I'm not just saying that, you know, because we're cool and all that, but I thought it was more competitive than people gave you credit for.
Yeah, I actually haven't. I've only watched it twice since then, and I think it's more so because I'm so like embarrassed about my performance that it's just one of those things. Like I don't want to watch that
Right,
shit,
right.
and it's not even necessarily. I'm not embarrassed that I lost. I'm just embarrassed that it was so boring. Um, so I mean, that would have been really cool if it was like I really thought that we were gonna throw down and
Yeah,
it was gonna be this like crazy fight, just back and forth. And it was so not like that at all. It was the complete opposite. And so that's why I kind of just it's it's not a fight I would want to watch normally. So like if it was two other people, so I don't want to watch
right, right.
it, especially. Um, but I mean, yeah, whatever. Is like I lost, move on. I've I don't know. I'll let well, I'm sure you would have asked me what I've been doing since then, but I just feel kind of a sense of relief almost, or more so a sense of like newfound freedom and autonomy. And I'm doing a lot more things that I wouldn't have done had I been the champ.
Right.
Not because I couldn't, like Bellator has always been very supportive of what I do, but just like I just feel like I don't kind of have to like second guess myself, like, okay, well, will this affect me as champion, or like could this potentially um be bad? Like sorry, I can't find the words, but basically I can focus my energy elsewhere and not just all right,
Yeah.
champion, I have to do champ camps. And so it's kind of nice. Like just like how I've adjusted to COVID, I've adjusted to this life of not being champion, and I feel like I'm doing pretty well. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
feel I'm good.
yeah, that's awesome. And I was going to ask you about that though, because obviously I think one of the bigger takeaways people had from you losing the belt was, you know, when you talked about it right afterward and how it was such a kind of pressure lifted off of you, right? And you're like you said, a little bit freeing in a way. I mean, so do you still feel that same way a bit, like not in a hurry to get the belt back, not necessarily, or is that mindset changed at all, I
No,
guess?
no. In fact, my neighbor was asking me this morning. He's like, "So, are you gonna need a like immediate rematch?" I'm like, "Well, no, I don't really want one, to be honest, because I feel like I perform my best in front of a live audience, and that's not
Right.
going to happen anytime soon. Or at least I feel like it's not going to happen, in this next quarter. So hopefully by the end of the year. So yeah, I don't want any immediate rematch. So that's like me thinking from a strategic point of view, is that yeah, I don't want to rematch the for the belt until I can be in front of a crowd. And it doesn't even mean like in front of my hometown. I just want to be in front of a crowd,
Right.
and because I feel like that's where I kind of shine. So and then on top of that, like again, I feel a lot more autonomy in terms of my career, and I've said this before that yeah, it would be cool to be that fighter who takes a fight on short notice. Um, Realistically, I can't do that right now because I'm fat as shit. So I just got to get my weight under control and then I can do it. But like even if I were to have a full camp,
Yeah.
and fight, and I'm not injured, I feel great, and then I can jump in like right after. I'm talking about more so like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those are, I think that would be really fun, and travel overseas, go to Europe, hopefully if they open up. So just things that I wouldn't normally have considered when I was champion, I'm considering now.
Right. Yeah, a little bit more flexible options kind of and what you can do in that regard, definitely, because
Yeah,
champ's not just going to be like, all right, we're defending in a couple weeks, like something
yeah,
crazy like
yeah.
that. So
And even like doing crossovers, like we see
right.
so many fighters are doing now. I would love to do a boxing match. That would be super dope.
All right, and I didn't ask right off the top here, but you were watching UFC last night, or were you watching the Paul fight?
We actually had both up on my
Okay.
computer. We were watching at the party. We set up the TV outside. Um, yeah, I haven't been following the whole boxing fight at all. I don't follow because I know it's going to make me annoyed, and I just don't need
Exactly.
that kind
Yeah.
of negativity in my life. So I haven't really been following, but of course I wanted to watch it. And then like when it happened, I was like, all right, whatever's like it didn't really bother me as much as it bothered most people.
Yeah. Not a fan myself, so
Yeah, yeah, but it was great. And then, but I was watching the freaking Robert Whittaker fight was amazing. I mean, he's such a
Oh
stud,
man.
and we have to support. He's Maori and fellow Polynesian, so I've always been a fan of him. And yeah, that was really beautiful to watch. So that thank God that fight was up.
Right. Right. Big difference in the
Yeah,
fights there. So yeah, he's incredible, only getting better, I think. But yeah, talking about like the lack of crowds and that weirdness, did that make it kind of harder like to get yourself ready to go like out there and be like, all right, well, I guess we're gonna do this, It's like it doesn't feel like a fight, right?
yeah, it felt like even everything from when you like even with training camp, it was almost like we had to have undercover training sessions, and not everybody was there, and then all the testing that we had to do. It just, even when we got out to Mohegan Sun, I couldn't even, me and my partner, we couldn't stay together even though we lived together, because say he had tested, the whole thing, he had
Right.
tested positive, then they could still save the fight because we weren't in the same room. So yeah, it was weird cutting weight by myself. And I'm just like, I just feel like I'm in this different world right now. Very like a dream. It kind
Yeah.
of seemed very like dream-like. Um, and the walkout and the weigh-ins. So it was odd, but I was telling myself the whole time that as champion, you have to be the best in every scenario. You can't just only be good at one way. So I was like, if I'm truly going to be the champion of this division, like I need to learn how to fight in all these different
Mhm.
situations. And it sucked. So I realized like, oh shit, this is actually, I guess I'm not that good. But so yeah, I totally am not using it as an excuse at all that it was like a very weird scenario, because Juju had to fight the same situation.
Mhm.
So whatever. But I do think that some fighters, and I'm not saying she's one of them, but for some fighters, they perform better under those circumstances,
Right.
as opposed to fighting in front of crowds. Some people kind of freeze or whatever's and under the big lights, but others do very, very well in circumstances like that. So yeah, hopefully I can prove to myself that I can fight in any situation. And that night was just like not my night.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely something everybody just has to figure out their best way to do it, I guess. It's
Mhm.
such a strange thing that you hope it's just for this period and we don't have to worry about it again, right? So it's crazy stuff. But not to take a darkish or more sad turn or anything, Ilima, but what was it, the summertime, I think before the fight, you kind of came out about a serious thing, your abuse issue that you had. And I
Oh
was
yeah.
just curious, we don't have to get super into it or anything, but like the status on, if any updates on that, and like in the initial reaction, like maybe to people having in support of you, or if that added any pressure at all to bring that up before a title fight. Like, I don't know, just tell me a little bit about all that.
Yeah, so it has actually been in the works kind of since like 2018. And the reason that we decided to go public when we did was because the statute of limitations was actually about to end. And so that's why we had to come out like when it was announced.
Right.
But as far as updates, we're still in the process. Like actually, I've been flying home a lot for the court case, and I'm trying to think like what I'm legally able to tell you. Yeah, it's still there, and we're still going strong, but it's in litigation, so that's why there's not anything public,
Right.
like public knowledge yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. Like April was when it came out, and the statute of limitations ended the week after we went public.
Okay. Yeah. So that was something that, obviously gotten a lot of people off guard, but important too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And as far as like the reaction, it was really good on certain platforms, like, or very supportive. People had our backs on a lot of platforms, but of course there's going to be negativity around it. And I was not surprised that most of the negativity was on the fucking MMA platforms. Like, MMA fans suck.
Who would have thought?
They just, yeah. So surprised.
Man.
But I already know to like not look or not care about any of that shit, because yeah, they all suck anyway. I could seriously, like, I could save a child out of a well, and MMA fans will still be like, "Fuck you, whore!" Like, they're just insane. So
like, this doesn't make sense. I know it is mind blowing. Like even just yesterday, with Jeremy Stevens' fight not happening, people were blaming Klose. Like,
yeah. Man, that was so disappointing. I was actually, I didn't know about that. I was running around all day trying to get ready for the party, so I wasn't even looking at anything.
Yeah.
And so when I put the fights on, and I was like, what the fuck? Where's Jeremy's fight? And yeah, I was really looking forward to that one. So then when I saw what had happened, I was like,
right.
Come on, guys. Come on. And like, Jeremy's my homie, I like that guy. And like, I know Dre also, so that was a bummer, but yeah, well, everyone sucks.
Yeah, they sure do. But it's also raised an interesting point, though, out of all of the nonsense bullshit that comes with that kind of thing. But people saying, or the argument there for being, all right, fighters shouldn't be allowed to touch at all during weigh-ins. Like, what do you think about that idea?
Yeah, I mean, are you allowed to touch somebody on the street like that and like not face? I mean, not that I agree with that. I think a lot of people should get fucking punched in the face on the street. Like, I 100% believe in that, but the reality is that you can't. So yeah, I've always thought, I've always been like, do they get penalized for pushing people at weigh-ins, or like what goes on,
Yeah.
So I think there should definitely be some sort of penalty, and maybe this situation will, I don't know, make that happen now, because that's the first time that I know of where a fight was canceled because of an altercation at weigh-ins.
Yeah, the only one I know of too. But in terms of fines, DC and John Jones, I remember the commission fined them. Remember when they had their first kind of thing where they were pushing each other with Schaller in the middle of it? Yeah. They got fined by the commission, but not the promotion. So you would think that it would kind of maybe happen again here, but
yeah. Do you know if Jeremy's going to get fined at all?
I haven't heard anything about that yet. No, but and we're hoping that Drakkar gets at least his show money. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, so yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But terrible segue here, Ilima. You mentioned homies, Jeremy being a homie. Since we last caught up, Kanako continues to do incredible things. UFC debut.
We
So,
can't do an interview together unless we talk about
right?
Kanako.
I know that's the thing. So just what do you think about the UFC debut? I thought another person who's looking better than ever, just getting gradually better with every fight. I'm so excited for
Yes.
her future.
Yes. Who did she fight again?
Randa Marcos.
Randa Marcos. That's right. Yeah. No, that was an awesome fight. She looked great. I mean, her wrestling is like, she's up there with like those of Tatiana Suarez, I feel. So yeah, I'm super excited for her. Do you have any word on her next fight at
Yeah,
all? Or...
she's fighting in what is it, June, I think, against Jandiroba, which
Oh, that's right. That's gonna be good.
yeah.
It's gonna
I
be good.
I love hated because I like both of them
I
so
know.
much,
I love Jandiroba too. Man, that's gonna be because Jandiroba's jiu-jitsu, I feel, is stronger. She's a whiz on the ground.
Yeah.
But like Kanako's wrestling when we trained together was so good that she nullified a lot of my submission attempts, just because her hips are so good. And so yeah, I think that's a really good matchup.
Yeah, it's I love it so much because I love them both so much, but I hate it because they're fighting each other. Like it's so bittersweet. That's the definition of a bittersweet fight. But having worked with her and knowing her and trained with her, Ilima, like it's very interesting to me. I think the mentality that she has, because when I caught up with her last, she was in quarantine still after the Randa fight. So we were talking to her while she was in the hotel, and I asked her like, so how was like the UFC experience going from Ryzen, which big ass show just in general, to UFC, which is the grander stage, the biggest MMA promotion, whatever, but also in a weird time now where it doesn't feel like it maybe in terms of the atmosphere. And she responded by saying like, yeah, they had like a limo for me to go to the PI and there was a translator. Like that was all she mentioned. Like usually people would be like, yeah, about the UFC, but nothing came up to her aside from like, yeah, we had just like these little simple things that were kind of neat. Like, do you see like this really hyper focused athlete in her? Is it that obvious to people that know her?
Yeah, I mean, she's an Olympian, basically. Oh, I consider her an Olympian,
Right.
but I think it was the Junior Olympics that she was wrestling for. But yeah, I remember doing conditioning with her, and so we would be running stairs, and I use the railings on the stairs because we have to make it in a certain time. So everybody uses the railings, and then we see Kanako just like pummeling up the stairs, no railings at all, just like going. She's just a machine. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's Kanako, and she's just built differently. And I feel like a lot of wrestlers are like that. They're just grinders, and so yeah, very robotic, but like a badass robot,
Yeah.
like she's a machine. She's literally a machine. Um, so yeah, I'm totally not surprised that she's like, cool, I have a limo.
Right, right.
Like,
That's a good point. She is kind of robotic, but at the same time, she has like a very like low key, awesome personality. She's very funny.
yeah, yes, no, I mean, just as an athlete
Right.
alone, like she's a machine, and yeah, I could see her being very like focused in her fight. But aside from that, she's so funny. She's like one of the funniest human beings, coolest human beings. I actually saw her. I think she's friends with Kana Watanabe
Yeah.
in Bellator. Yeah, and I saw them and I was like, damn it, because I feel like me and Kana are gonna fight at some point. So I'm like, shucks.
Yeah.
We'll be friends. We could all hang out in Japan next time I go.
Yeah, there you
Next time I go.
go. Yeah, Kana is great too. And I mean, speaking of her, another, she officially got signed since we last caught up. She had her debut, I think, before, right? Yeah, right
Yep, I
before
watched
Bellator
that
20.
against
Yep. Um,
yep
I
against
mean,
Alejandro.
yep. All the so many people Bellator, it feels like they've brought in, especially last year to your division, and like, man, it's fucking awesome. Like the flyweight division is so good right now, and when you look at like seeing all these signings, even Porto who fought Liz just what was that last week? Um, like is that exciting for you to have all these new fresh faces or like motivating? Like what do you think when you see, damn, my division, this Shark Tank was already full of sharks, but now here we go, it's filling up even more.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm so excited every time that Bellator signs new girls, and every time that they do well in their, fights or debuts or whatever it is. It's better for the division overall. It's better for the promotion. It's better for myself. So I was just talking about this the other day with somebody. Oh yeah, so like some of my artists, like musician friends, I was like, so is it like competitive between you and other artists? Like, are you guys like friends, or so we're talking about it, and I was like, because in my perspective, I feel like there's no cattiness in MMA because we just go in there and fight each other, like, and that's it. Like, cool, we respect you. But it also, I was explaining just what I had said, that the better the other girls in my division do, the better it is for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited whenever I hear about new signings. I annoy Rich so much. Like, I'm always texting him like, hey, what about this girl? Hey, I think you should match these people up. And he's just like, oh, matchmaker. Yeah. So
like, I'll take care of it, Ilima.
But yeah, I'm super pumped, and all the new signees, they all have done very, very well in their debuts. Even though Vanessa lost, I mean, we all know who fucking Vanessa Porto is,
right.
So it's not bad that she lost against Liz Carmouche.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it was cool. And then Kana had a great debut with Bellator also. I mean, she was always on my radar from Ryzen when they did the cross fight with Ilata, but yeah, she had a great fight against Alejandra. It was competitive. It was fun to watch, and yeah, she's definitely still on my radar. They all are. Everyone is.
And because of like all the new people coming in and everything, were you kind of surprised? We've been talking about it, I feel like, since maybe your Vita fight, like a while now, but surprised that no tournaments come together yet. Like, we felt like that was the next one, at least along with light heavyweight.
I truly believe that it would have been the next one had COVID not have happened.
Right.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm not tripping though. Like, I know if it happens, it'll whatever happens was meant to be. So I'm not super tripping, but that'd be a pretty cool comeback story. Like, all right, do the tournament, come back with a belt.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was kind of thinking, or I mean, a couple other people too, I guess, but like, all right, set up the tournament right after your fight that you just had with Juliana. Like, maybe you could do the instant rematch with you guys in the opening round, or put you guys on the other side of the bracket. And then, man, if you worked your way up to the rematch there, like, it makes it so much more exciting,
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I would have been annoyed about was, like, remember when they did, the current featherweight tournament? The only thing I would have been annoyed about with the tournament was, had they have done the same format where, like, they have the selection show and the champion gets the wild card or whatever, because then I would have been like, fuck, like, I've been champion the whole time. And then like, now I lose it, and then now I don't get the wild card. So yeah. But I mean, I see with this last tournament, they didn't do that. They just did it like that according. So I think now with the rankings, they're going to do the same thing.
Right. But also, to be fair, the featherweight one was 16 people as well.
So. So yeah, that would have been tough doing. Yeah, ours will definitely be 8.
Yeah, you would think so. Or it could get crazy.
It could get crazy. Fuck yeah. I don't fucking know what they want to do. But yeah, 16 would be cool too.
Yeah, wouldn't hate it. Wouldn't hate, the more the merrier, I guess. Yeah. But like, then the longer it takes. So I don't know. We'll worry about it when we get there. But Ilima, obviously, like, you're not in a super rush or anything to get back in. But are you thinking about when, expecting to fight next, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I definitely want to fight in June or July. I've been, texting everyone. Yeah, that's why I was like, wait, Rich, you're not gonna be a matchmaker anymore.
Like, wait a minute.
Like, what do I text now? But yeah, I've been telling them, like, hey, I want to get in there around those times. So we'll see. I haven't heard anything officially, but like I said, I'm freaking starting my little cleanse kickstart, just to jumpstart hopefully a potential weight cut.
Did you let them know you're doing the cleanse too? Like, hey guys.
No. I don't want them to know that I got super fat.
Yeah, yeah. Right. But I mean, also you did Submission Underground. What was that?
Yeah.
2, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and you got the win. Um, what was that like? Yeah, I know you've done EBI before in the past, but grappling competition again. How was it?
Yeah, it was really fun. I mean, um I've been watching Submission Underground for a while now, because my head coach Boogie, he's a pretty active competitor in that in that promotion, and I really like that a lot of MMA fighters do it. And then it's in a cage. I've always liked that format, and
Mhm.
so yeah, I that was one of the first things I thought of when after I lost the belt. I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit up Jill and see if I can do Submission Underground. So that was really cool that they were able to get me a match, and Jessica was super awesome. She's great, and she actually has a fight coming up against Jennifer
Yep.
Maia.
Yep.
So she was like, I think your style is kind of similar to her, and your size. And so she had asked if I wanted to train with her for that fight, and I was
Oh,
like, hell yeah,
cool.
let's do it. So well, we'll see if we can link up again. But it was great. I had an overall really great time doing it, and they actually asked me if I wanted to do the April card, or the one that's coming up, but I just didn't want to because we thought that I was going to get a bout agreement pretty soon
Mm,
for a fight. So
yeah.
that's why we're like, we'll wait till after this next fight and then we'll do another one.
Yeah, just to be safe. So
Yeah.
also, Bellator on Showtime now. That's
Yeah.
kind of a big deal. And I think that it's been good so far, not just the fights, but like the look of everything looks really clean and nice, and but still feels like Bellator. It's not a huge change, which is nice at the same time, I think. But what is your first impression of the Showtime era for Bellator?
Oh, I love it. I think it's great. Super clean, like you said, and I think it's awesome that it is like it came full circle because what's it called? Strike Force
Yep.
used to be on Showtime and everything. So I think it's really cool, and I had a great experience with the Showtime people that I've met so far. So yeah, I think it's a great move.
Yeah, yeah. And do you have any plans to do some more desk work in the future? What do you think?
Hopefully, shit, hell yeah, I love doing that. So I mean, it's just up to Bellator, and I figured that I wouldn't, as long as things were weird from
Yeah.
COVID, just because I know they have to take care of their contracted broadcast team,
Right.
obviously. So yeah, I figured it won't be for a little bit, but I love that they're bringing more fighters onto the desk, not necessarily to commentate, but at least to talk story in between
Yeah.
fights, promote future fights. So that was cool. They brought Bader and Lima in the last time, on the last card. So yeah, I feel like that could be potentially something, but yeah, I would love to do more commentary.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing. You'd be the first female to do like straight up commentary, like alongside Morrow or something. Is that something that you would want to do along with maybe not just doing the analyst stuff on the desk?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because so I did my first, I guess you'd call it play by play.
Hmm.
I did my first one for Lux Fight League,
Okay.
the promotion in Central America,
Hmm.
and it was really funny because my buddy Alex Soto was actually the one that asked me to do it because he wasn't able to do a show. So he's like, "Hey, yeah, can you do that?" I was like, "Yeah, great. Shoot, send me all the info. I'm in." And I literally fly into Monterrey, Mexico, and when I land, um, I was like, "Hey, where's the driver? Like, who do I look for?" And he's like, "You speak Spanish, right?" I'm like, "No, not at all." He's like, "Are you serious? I thought you spoke Spanish this whole time." I'm like, "Fuck no, dude!" Like, is that why you asked me to do this?
Right, right.
Well, it was super funny. I mean, it was doable. It was great. I was fortunately doing the English side, but yeah, I just
Luckily.
thought, yeah, it was so hilarious that he thought I spoke Spanish. But I guess I did a pretty good job of it because they asked me to do another show in May, so I'm gonna fly back down for that show. So You know, just in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. You know, the more practice that I get, the more likely I could do this. I could do this for Bellator or, you know, for whoever's.
Right.
Yeah. So I know that I'm the first female fighter they've had actually do any type of commentary,
Mm-hmm.
Bellator, but yeah, to do actual play-by-play, oh man, that was crazy actually. When I did the Lux show, I didn't realize, I should have known, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize that the play-by-play, they don't get a break. They do the whole
Yep.
thing, freaking prelims, everything. And like freaking desk commentary, we're like all bullshitting, you know, it's nice that, and they're like bringing us food, like, and freaking Josh them are like, oh, like I'll have some sushi tonight. You know, they're so spoiled up there
Yeah.
on the desk. And the play-by-play, man, I was like, this is crazy. There's literally no break, and you're
Mm-hmm.
just going straight through. Um, so yeah, that would be the only unappealing part about that. But like, it's still it's great. Like being able to do that, I think would be super dope for Bellator.
Yeah, definitely. And I know people, I don't think they understand how it's a pretty, it's a taxing thing.
Yeah, and so when I was like, I remember Bellator was doing like the double headers back to back, like one in Europe, one in New York, I don't know, something like that. And Big John had to go to all of them. And he has all his notes of I think he was doing something like 60 fights. He was calling 60 fights. And I'm just like, this is gnarly. And they don't get any breaks. So I'm like, well, so you can't really drink a lot of fluids because you can't go to the bathroom at all.
Right.
You go straight through. But like you also have to keep your energy up. So how the hell do you do it? Because like my energy I could feel was dropping at certain points. So yeah, it's a crazy job. So much props to Morrow and Big John and all the other great commentators out there. It's a freaking, so yeah, I get mad when I see negative comments about commentary because I'm like, you guys have no
Yeah, you
idea
don't get
how much,
it.
yeah.
It is a grind, that is for sure. So, yeah, respect to all those guys and gals who are getting into it. Crazy. What do you think that you would be doing if you weren't fighting? If you didn't get into fighting?
If I didn't get into
Yeah.
fighting, I used to always say that I would be an NFL wife.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm kind of like,
How do you aim for that? How does
no,
that?
I didn't have to aim for it. I was like actually with an NFL player.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's like,
And he wanted me to be an NFL wife, but I
okay.
didn't
Okay.
want to. I was like, oh, I want to fight. So, um, yeah, if I didn't get into fighting, I'd probably be like married with kids and a teacher because that's what I wanted to do. I was going to school to be a teacher.
Okay.
But it's so hard to say now because like I feel like I'm obviously a completely different person. I
Yeah.
have a completely different mindset. I'm like, fuck no, I'm gonna be an NFL wife. Like make my
One of
own
those
career.
reality shows.
Yeah. So I really can't tell you, but I will probably tell you that like I would probably have a couple kids.
Yeah.
That would be a guarantee.
Uh, did you have something specific that you wanted to like teach?
Yeah, I wanted to teach history or social studies.
Okay.
Um, I know they don't have anthropology in high school, but yeah, something along those lines.
Oh hey, you made it to the end. Thanks for watching, really appreciate it. If you like this video and want to see more like it, give it a like and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. Until then, we'll see you next time.